bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum. I'm not going to sing very long this time, friends, because we got a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot going on. And so I say, Heidi ho and hi ho silver. Here we go. We've got, we are going to get going. Hold on to your teacups, my friends. Let me turn this camera a little bit so you can see me better. Hold on to your teacups, friends, because Grandma's got fire tonight. We've got a lot of things to talk about. So, hi, friends, it's Monday night. Monday night at 8 o'clock. Every Monday night, we do the same thing and the same thing every single time. Oh, I'm going to readjust my camera a little bit. There we go. And we do one thing and one thing only. What is that? We talk about homeopathy. I teach you what I know. I like to see how you interact with each other. I like to see that things are moving along in your lives and you're helping each other. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joanne Calabrese. And for those who do, howdy, friends. It's great to see you. And I don't know what is wrong with my screen. I guess I'm in the center. I'm all right. I'm all right. No, I think we're okay. All righty. So let's talk tonight. First, I want to see where everybody's from. Hi, Harry. I'm not sure which way you want me to move it, but Perry's directing me. Harry, Perry's directing me, and you know the other way. Okay. Okay, we got Jane in Tampa. Come on, friends, tell me where you're from. I love to see where you're coming in from. It really makes things more fun for me. Hello from rainy St. Louis, and Montana is where Jennifer's from, and Debbie's from. Hello, Debbie. Hi. All right, friends, let's talk, shall we? Let's talk about what the newest, greatest, most exciting new progress in today's world is or will be. And it's, they promise excitement, friends. There's no doubt about it. And so I want to give you some information that I hope will not only help you with the angst around this potential crisis. And they're building towards a crisis because crises makes us, I don't know, makes us compliant, frightens us, and leads us to do things that we might not otherwise do. So let me just say that the way that we look at homeopathy is that we can use a specific homeopathic medicine for a specific condition. I do it all the time. It's what I teach. I teach protocols. But I have to say that it's the way that it most often works for situations like an illness that is supposed to be infectious, it acts a little differently. So let me give you an example. Let's say we're talking about whooping cough. Now, for whooping cough, we've got a couple of homeopathic medicines that we can use. We can use Drosera, particularly because Drosera is one of our top medicines for violent spasmodic coughs. And that does certainly incorporate whooping cough. You know, coughing fits, worse at night, worse laying down. But Drosera is not the only medicine we consider based on those symptoms that the person, usually a child, is suffering from. We can also consider cuprum. Cuprum metallicum is also another very good medicine. And the cuprum is specific for spasms of coughs, a tight feeling in the chest, etc. Now, let me also point out that Drosera can be used for other kinds of coughs. It can also be used for worse on laying down with no cough at all. And cuprum can be used for other kinds of spasms, flickering of the eyelids or spasms of the legs. We can use cuprum for many conditions that are related to this set of symptoms. So can we use Drosera for many conditions using the same symptoms of Drosera. Now, could we use pertussinum, which is the homeopathic nosode for whooping cough? We could. It's not my first choice. And I've worked with lots of families with whooping cough. Usually it comes in families. Um, I've worked in, and I had it myself. I had whooping cough myself. So I have to tell you, I don't think of pertussum first, or pertussinum, which is the no-so from which is derived from the particular condition, from the bacteria. Instead, for myself, I use Cuprum metallicum. For others in the past, I've used Drosera. Depends on how it presents. Now let's talk about another medicine. Let's say someone gets sick and they get a flu, they get a cold. Oh my gosh, their joints are aching. It's so awful. Every movement, especially when they first get up out of bed, they're just so achy and stiff. But there's a sense of restlessness. It's so uncomfortable. And so the medicine we might think of would be Rhus-Tax. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Because Rhus-Tax is also the same set of symptoms, but we use it for arthritis. And Rhus-Tax is the same set of symptoms, but we use it for overuse of the joints, having no arthritis at all. So I don't know why we're having such trouble with this. I need to move.
No, you need to stop moving.
I'm moving too much. I can't talk without moving. So you see, we're using the symptoms to determine what medicine to consider. Let's use another example, okay? Let's use bryonia, shall we? Bryonia is one of our best medicines for a slip disc, because just the tiniest movement, different than Rhus-Tax. Rhus-Tax is worse on first movement and better on limbering up. Rhus-Tax has restlessness. Rhus-Tax feels stiff and achy all over. Bryonia is different, my friends. Bryonia is pain on any movement. Move this way. Ow. Ow. Now, is this the back? Is it the shoulders? Is it the neck? Is it the knee? Or bryonia can also be for a cough with the tiniest movement causes coughing. Move the eyes, move the head a little bit. Any movement is worse from any movement is bryonia. For someone who's got a headache, they just moving the head the tiniest bit. Oh, that is so painful. From moving the head, bryonia is worse for movement. Rhus-Tax is worse for first movement and stiffness and restlessness. Drosera, we can keep going with these. These medicines have specific set of symptoms that are associated with them and are used in many conditions. In a panoply, in a mosaic, in a cacophony of conditions. These medicines can be used in so many different ways. So, when we hear about a new and exciting condition that causes fever, cough, fatigue, and breathing issues. I'm looking over here at my notes. Really? Fever, cough, fatigue, and breathing issues? Anybody ever have a cold with any of those? Anybody ever have anything like that? Sounds pretty ordinary to me. Yet the threat. Oh my goodness. So, what do we do with that? It's too common. It doesn't tell us what kind of cough. It doesn't tell us that it's worse for movement. It doesn't tell us whether it's spasmodic. It doesn't tell us whether or not it's violent, worse from laying down. It doesn't tell us whether it's first and first movement. It doesn't tell us anything. It's a fever, a cough, fatigue, and or breathing issues. But so dangerous. So I have to tell you, Grandma here has lived long enough that I don't ever remember there being one infectious illness after another infection, and another, and another, and another, and another. Every, 6 months? Is that what we're kind of getting into, like a little rhythm here? I only remember polio. Don't even get me started on that one. But that's all I remember is polio when I was a kid. Yeah, measles, mumps, chickenpox. Yeah, I'm a measles, mumps, and chickenpox survivor. So were all my friends. So were all my cousins. So was my entire neighborhood. But apparently now the bugs are ramping up again, and the microbes are against the humans. And so, what are we going to do about this? Let me just tell you that when someone gets sick, a cold, a cough, the grip, used to be called the grip when I was little, the grip, you would go straight to bed. Your mother would give you bouillon, honey and lemon, and we would just go to bed and sweat it out. And we actually thought it was fun because we were able to do things that we weren't able to do by going to school every day. Even though I loved school, nonetheless, it was something that it was kind of fun. And if my brother was sick right along with me, I stayed home with him. And we, made teepees and things, because we were always under blankets and all. But that's what we did in the old days. Now, with homeopathy, my friends, you have a weapon. You are armed and dangerous. Why are you dangerous? Because you know what to do. You know how to handle this. And so, when you first get sick and you get a fever or cough or restlessness or achy, do you run right out and get tested to see if you've got something that could be a killer? Or do you start taking the homeopathic medicines such as oscillococcinum? Oscillococcinum made by boron. Or how about cold calm? Because it's just a cold in the beginning. In the beginning, you just feel achy and something coming. You keep cold calm in your purse. Keep cold calm in your briefcase. Keep cold calm in your car and at home. And the moment you feel something coming on, it, especially if it's fast moving. Because the first medicine we think of, my friends, when there's a fast acting response to whatever it might be, is to use aconitum. So you could use cold calm, you could use oscillococcinum, or you can use aconitum. Aconitum, I like 200. I like aconitum mixed with Bryonia 30. I talk about it on my blog all the time. If you don't know about that, Joed Calabrese, aconitum, and Bryonia. Joed Calabrese, cold. And you will learn how to, the moment you feel this coming on, you start taking it. When I say start taking it, I don't mean you take it once and then say, okay, well, I guess I've done my job. I've done my due diligence. No, my friends, you take it every 15 minutes for the first hour. For example, it needn't always be that way, but you take it every 15 minutes for the first hour, and that's followed by every hour, every 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. Why? The reason I make it sound so vague is because you will know. You'll say, you know what, I'm still feeling pretty beat up. So I'm going to take it every hour now. And as you improve, you will see that you start backing off, and you can do exactly the same thing with oscillococcinum. You can do the same thing with cold calm. These are the medicines that we start any illness. It doesn't matter what it's called, my friends. It doesn't matter what it's called. Remember, bryonia is for ailments from movement, worse from movement. That could be a cough, it could be a headache, it could be a backache, it could be slip disc, it could be eye pain. It doesn't matter what it is. And so when you know it does not matter what it is, and that we're going to use the medicines that are specific to how it's presenting, that is what homeopathy is, my friends. That's what it is. Now, let's say that people do really start getting sick. Okay, let's just say that happens. And there does seem to be a set of symptoms that seem concomitant with across communities. And there are a lot of people experiencing the same kind of stuff. Now we have more information, and we can perhaps come up with a medicine that is specific to that exact set of symptoms. But until that happens, we have nothing more than, I feel it coming on, especially if it's fast and it's intense. We're going to use that aconitum and bryonia mixed together, or we're going to use oscillococcinum, or we're going to use cold calm. And there are other mixtures, other homeopathic mixtures too, that are equally as good. Now let's say someone is restless. They're feeling restless. And there's anxiety. Whether the anxiety comes from watching the news about this, Whether the anxiety comes from that innate fear that somebody might have just because that's who they are, or whether the anxiety is from being sick, just the thought of being sick. Um, we're going to also be thinking about arsenicum album. Okay, I want you to think about that medicine too. Arsenicum album is a great medicine for restlessness with anxiety, and respiratory distress, etc. Now, let's say this has progressed, my friends. It has gotten worse. And so, what we see as worse is we're seeing that the breathing is difficult. There's air hunger. Maybe it's gone that far. It's gone past what I just finished describing, the onset, the first achiness, etc. Now it's gone to air hunger. Now, when there's air hunger, we're going to go for another medicine. And I'll bet you all know what this is all about. What's the great medicine for air hunger? We have a couple of them, but we have one in particular in which there just isn't enough oxygen getting into the system. And this can be used regardless of whether or not there's a cough. It can be used simultaneously. Let's see what people come up with. Well, I love eupatorium. Thank you for mentioning that. Eupatorium can be used as a preventative, and Joe Pathy used eupatorium, and I used it for other colds that I've talked about and these kinds of things in the Carbo-Veg. Thank you very much. Carbo-Vegetabilis. Carbo-Veg. 2 words. Carbo-Veg or Carbo-Vegetabilis. Yes. Yes, my friends. Yes, my lovelies. It's so good. You're such good students. Joette, we are dubbing the new, I'm sorry, I can barely read this. Cootie Mickey Mouse in our study groups for a code word in our study group chats. We already have a lot of remedies to have at the ready. Thank you for addressing this. Yes. Mickey Mous. Quebracho, says Jennifer. Quebracho is another very good remedy choice. But have it on hand. Own these medicines, my friends. Quebracho is spelled with a Q. Quabracho. Quebracho. Quabracho. Yes. Vanadium, other people are saying. Now, Quebracho is not just for weakness and breathing difficulty, but it is also just in general for these kinds of incidences in the world. Quebracho can be very useful. I have a couple of students. Leanne, are you here tonight? She's our Quebracho queen. So we also want to think about Baptisia. Listen, I'm not saying you take all these, just own them. Own a good kit. Own them. Baptisia. They're saying it's from rodent exposure. I don't know what they mean by that. Does it mean that it's the droppings of rodents and it's inhalation of an accumulation? Does it mean someone was bit by a rodent? I don't really know. We also want to consider HEAP ourselves, great for infections like this in general. But we also have, I've got some notes here and I don't want to forget them, so bear with me. We're going to be using a remedy that's specific for fever if fever is prominent. We're going to use a remedy that's specific for cough if cough is prominent. So I don't want to leave you in the lurch, my friends, but we have to wait and see what happens. I'm sorry to say, we have to wait and see what happens. And it's not such a bad thing. Because I'm not convinced. Okay, here we go. Droppings, aerosoled in dust. Okay, says Sue from San Diego. Okay. Yep. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes more sense to me, especially if it's respiratory, that's the way it would be looked upon. Yep. All righty. So let's see. How are we doing, friends? Let's see some of your questions. My granddaughter is allergic to grain and ate a little rice. Well, I'm so sorry. This is flipping up so quickly. Started choking, so gave her carbo veg 30, and in a few minutes she was breathing normally. Whew, says Anne. Nice job, Anne. Nice job. You've done your homework. Funny, you need to only be able to catch this by inhaling those odors. But now you can't now you can catch it from other people. Yeah, I don't know. Is it the droppings of other people? Is it rodent dropping? Is it do we wear masks when we walk someplace where a rodent could have passed? Oh, for crying out loud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my friends. For those of you who are very frightened, I'm going to tell you that I am not. I've been through this too many times now. What is this now? The Dutch couple who passed was bird watching on a toxic dump site. Interesting. Are we sure that that was the cause, though? And then how do they isolate the virus? Did they check what they had to and compare that to uh, what was found in the rodents' droppings before they boarded the cruise ship? It's always cruise ships, isn't it? Isn't that fascinating? Dolly from PA says, Karen, those are different strains, and this one transfers more readily human to human. They say that every time, my love. It still has to be very close human contact, saliva, blood, etc. It is not um, aerosolized virus. Well, my friends, check out what Dr. Sam Bailey check out what she does on YouTube regarding the 1918 flu pandemic. And I read about this, I don't know, 35 years ago, which made me suspicious for a very long time. Check out what she says. Dr. Sam Bailey. Yeah, it was spread through the ventilation system. Okay. Stop paying attention to that BS, says Esther. Diagnosed with what PCR fraud? Yep. Oh, with what PCR? Period. Fraud. Harry says cruise ships are a large petri dish. I think they're also perfect for frightening the heck out of people because it's people who go on cruise ships that are the most likely to, I think, to to buy into this completely. Diane says, I had a BAM experience with Drosera when I had the COVID cough. Sorry, I can barely read this. It's so tiny that just wouldn't go away. I had a BAM experience. I don't know what you mean, Diane. You got that right, Tina. Hoping they don't start putting things in the rain. My daughter got caught in the rain today, and the water stained her clothes. Sam Bailey, here we go. Article, pandemic. Thank you, Sheila. Sheila put in the link. Thank you very much. My son had open heart surgery at 1 week old. My goodness. As a complication, his lung collapsed, and he had fluid in his lungs. All I had was carbo veg, so I gave it to him, and by the next hour, his lungs were clear. Thank you for sharing that. That's how powerful these medicines are. Bam, quick recovery, says Susie B. I saw photos of people being wrapped in plastic being taken off the cruise ship, but not their hands. LOL. I bet they are that they are decontaminating the ship with poison now. How many of those that are still confirmed or confined to the ship are going to end up with maybe lung problems? Yeah. I've been listening to Robin Murphy's talk on cell salts from decades ago, and he mentioned Hantavirus. Nothing new under the sun. Now, I remember back in the 80s when I first started to learn about homeopathy, friends. um, that they were talking. I don't remember who they were. They were homeopaths. There was no internet. It was, I don't know, newsletters that I was getting about, they were working on a for the common cold. And just note, it's coming. Something big is going to happen. And this was in the 80s, late 80s, maybe 89, maybe 90, maybe 90. Something big is coming, something really big, and they've got the, don't worry, they've got the all ready for everybody when it's time. Um, wow, it took a while, didn't it? 20 years, 20, 30 years, but um, it was all predicted. Now, not by people who were clairvoyant, but rather people who were in the field who were leaking it out. Let's see what else you've got here. Let me see if I can help anyone else with any other questions, because in 4 minutes I'm going to be going on to my Mighties and then Mighties Plus tonight after that. So, high fever. What do we think of if there's a high fever? We could think if it's a quick onset, and high fever, we're thinking aconitum again. We're thinking belladonna, right? Thinking hepar sulf. So we're going to use symptoms, just like we like what is her name? A Pantanel said about her son after heart surgery. Carboveg can work for a cold, a cough, breathlessness, whether it's from surgery, post surgical, whether it's from excessive mucosal membranes, excessive mucus in the mucosal membranes, whether it's from being asphyxiated, whether it's from inhaling too much gas and fumes in your garage and you're having difficulty breathing, or there's air hunger. It's still Carboveg. So we're going to use that kind of information. Right, Susie B says belladonna. That's right, belladonna. Robin says belladonna. Nice job, ladies. Nice job, my friends. All righty. Let's see what else we've got. I've got a couple more questions. I think sometimes it just flips over so quickly. So, what do we start with? Let's conclude. When we first get sick, what do we know what it is? How do we know it's not the other virus or this new virus or an old virus? We don't know what it is. And so let's use our symptoms. You feel suddenly overwhelmed, suddenly very fatigued, suddenly very sick, we think aconitum. If it feels like it has something to do with the chest and the lungs, we can use aconitum 200 mixed with bryonia 30. Yes, every 15 minutes if we need to for the first hour. If we're not sure, it feels like, it just feels like a little cold, we can use cold calm. If we feel as though this feels, maybe I don't have cold calm, maybe I only have oscillococcinum, let's use that. See where I'm going with this? Let's use our symptoms. But do own the other medicines people have talked about tonight. Quebracho, own it. Eupatorium, own it. Make sure you own a kit, because as things become more, as information evolves, although I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think we're going to know much more than what we know today. But let's say we do. I'm happy to share what I know. Deb, have fun and take a homeopathic kit. We love cruising and have never had any problems, been on 10 of them in the last 30 years. Yes, of course. Of course. Yeah, take your remedies along with you no matter where you go. A ship, a road trip, it does not matter. We just take the kit with us. I keep a kit in my car at all times. And yes, my friends, I live in Florida where it is very hot most of the year, and I leave the kit under the front seat of the passenger seat in the front seat. Does it get too very hot in there? Yes, it does. But you know what? Those medicines have never failed me. And what really convinced me was how hot it gets in India without air conditioning. It's pretty hot there, and homeopathy has been used there pretty extensively for the last 200 some years. So I feel as though my kit in Florida is just fine, and it acts. It's been there for years. It's the same old kit. If I go to a friend's house, if I go out to dinner, I don't take the kit with me. It stays in the car. If someone gets sick and we need it, then we run out to the car, get the kit, and start helping someone. Susie B says, I'm in London traveling, and I think I brought 300 remedies. You go, Susie. What potency of eupatorium and quebracho and vanadium? Well, only them in a 30 and as well as a 200. You could use it probably in a 6 or a 12 as well, but only 30. Those are the most commonly found, and 200s and 30s are excellent. Susie, if we are kindred spirits, says, oh, that's great. Hello, everyone. Hello. I have a friend when we were when we were kids, her mother would answer the phone. Hello. So I knew I always had the right number. Okay, keep shining my clever cookies. We are done. And so I'm going to go now to my Mighties and then on to Mighties Plus for the rest of my evening. So I'm going to say good night now. Bye all.